Ellen McCauley is Pray It Off. And, you know, one of the, on the back of the food log, there's a little daily inspiration, and it's called Grace and Gratitude. And we're all familiar with the parable about how 10 lepers were cleansed, but where are the other 9? And studies show that regular gratitude makes us happier if we stop to think what we are grateful for. It will be good for us and for everyone around us. No matter what difficulties we face, there are countless other benefits and things that we are not facing. We might have gained 2 pounds today, but we're not doing chemotherapy. I mean, when we put things in perspective, what is that 2 pounds? And we can always take it off next week. We need to remember to thank God for the burdens He has asked us to bear. And that's where it gets hard. When we thank Him for the crosses that we're carrying. And I know that I understand why I have struggled with my weight my whole life, why that has been my cross to bear, so that I would, throughout the journey of my life, lead me here to Pray It Off, to Syracuse, New York, and my own suffering, if you will, with my weight is a gift that God has given me to share with all of you so that we can do this together. And in my nightly readings last night, I was reading an article by Billy Graham, who I love, and I know he's with Jesus now. And one of his best friends was Corrie ten Boom. Of course it would be. And if anyone doesn't know who Corrie ten Boom is, she is the woman who wrote The Hiding Place. And she was a Christian who hid Jewish people during the Holocaust and ended up in a concentration camp herself. And she traveled for 45 years of her adult life in speaking and lecturing, and she never even had her own home. And when she was in her 80s, she didn't, she wasn't well, and she was kind of weak. And somebody famous said, "Here, I got an extra house, stay here." So one of her friends was visiting her, and the friend said, "How good is God that He has given you the blessing of this house, and God is here with you." And she said, "And God was with me at the concentration camp too. He's with me always. And how good is God that He was with me there then." And I just was stunned at that kind of faith, that kind of gratitude to God, even though she was in a concentration camp. And that is the kind of faith that I admire and that I ask God to give me, because it's so easy for us, when we win $10 on the Take 5 to say, "Thank you, Jesus." But when we get a fender bender, we're like, "Where was God?" Well, maybe He was saving us from something far worse. And being a cradle Catholic, I have learned so much, and I've shared before, with my husband, who became a Catholic as an adult. And I realize how blessed we are with the Catholic faith. Are there problems? Yes. But I always like to tell people who criticize things that are happening, I say to them, I am the Catholic Church, me. My friends that Pray It Off, we're the Catholic Church. I'm not doing anything to hurt children. I have been faithful, throughout the years. And one of the things to be grateful for is our sacraments, and especially the sacrament of reconciliation. I want to encourage everyone throughout Advent to go to confession. And, try to always make it at Easter and also at Advent, because you feel so good. And I've told people before, I always cry. I always cry at confession. I feel so good. And I come out and I'm crying, and people are in their pews going, "Holy crap. She must have killed somebody. Look at her." Oh my gosh. And Gordy Storings, gosh, I love that man. Gordy, Korean vet, he just went home to be with his beloved wife this year, who he loves so much, and he's a Jesus. But he always sat in the back pew at 5 o'clock Mass, and he and his buddies would go out to dinner after church. And I'd come out of confession, and he'd always look at his watch. And I would get the biggest kick out of it, So, but it's a gift. Confession is a gift. And, one of the things when you're feeling sinful, when you're feeling like you got some stuff weighing you down, are you showing your gratitude to others? Are you living the best life that you can live? And I like this. As we celebrate Thanksgiving and think about what we are grateful for, let us take a moment and reflect on how we're doing living our Catholic faith. Are we guided by the teachings of the church? Are we attending Mass? Are we going to the holy days? Are we celebrating the sacraments? I am telling you, when I made the decision to not be a cafeteria Catholic, to not say, you know what, I'm kind of tired, I think I'm going to sleep in this Sunday. When I made a decision that said, come, no matter what, wind, rain, sleet, or hail, I'm going to not miss Mass or a holy day, I feel better about it. And when you think about the things we're grateful for, I love thinking about these things. I'm grateful for a God who loves me. I'm grateful for the sacraments. I'm grateful for my family and friends. Who isn't? Does anyone ever say, I'm really not that grateful for my family and friends? They kind of stink. I'm not grateful for them at all. Most people are grateful for the family and friends. I am grateful for faithful priests. One of the things, and I'm just going to walk and get a Kleenex, Bob, so don't worry. One of the things I think we take for granted are the people that serve us at church. We take for granted, our parish priests. And when's the last time we said thank you, or wrote a thank you note, or gave them a little something, something? Because one year I gave all the priests and everybody a cross pen. You would have thought I gave them $1 million. Just that little recognition. Think about that. And I love this. I am grateful to know the final victory is already won, but realize that we have struggles ahead of us, and our faith will be sorely tested. Amen. Amen to that. You don't think the people who suffered losses that I shared with you tonight feel like, ooh, this is a tough time? There will be struggles, but we do need to remember our blessings. And I love this next article by Steve Pavlina. It talks about how gratitude equals wealth, and wealth equals gratitude. If you're truly grateful, you probably feel pretty wealthy, even if you don't have a lot of money. And it always reminds me of George Bailey. Our family loved the movie It's a Wonderful Life before anyone else did. I mean, back in the 50s, you were like, I could barely talk and we were watching It's a Wonderful Life. We loved it. And the thing with George Bailey, he thought, oh, I got so many problems, I owe this money, and the cops are going to come. And then when Clarence showed him what life would be without him, and he realized all the things that he had to be grateful for, he realized that he really did have a wonderful life. And he even says, I bet you're here to arrest me. Hip hooray, hip hip hooray. He didn't care then. And I always think of him because he was the richest man in town. And that's how the movie ends. And that's how we have to look at our own lives. And Steve talks about 2 levels of gratitude, level 1 and level 2. And let's pay attention to this because it all affects our weight. This affects our weight. Level 1 gratitude is for the basics, okay? I'm grateful I got a roof over my head. I'm grateful I got a car. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful I'm married, my family, my job. It's what most people say, yeah, I'm grateful. That's level 1 gratitude. It's about possessions, circumstances, but the trouble with level 1 gratitude, it doesn't take you much to knock you out of level 1 gratitude. Now, okay, I'm grateful. Oh, what? I'm getting audited by the IRS? Oh my gosh, you're off on a tangent. It's the default form of gratitude. Level 2 gratitude. Oh, and I like level 1. Because so many times people say, at least I have my health. I have a friend whose mother drove her crazy because she would say, geez, Mom, I kind of got a pain in my leg. And she'd say, at least you have your legs. Think about the people in the world who don't have legs. And then she'd say, geez, Mom, maybe I need glasses. My eyes are kind of bothering me. And her mother would say, you have eyes. Think of all the blind people. So she could do a whole comedic routine on her mom. But the point is, there are people that are always going to say to you, I'm having a rough day. Well, at least you have a day that can be rough. Think of the people who aren't here anymore. Level 1 gratitude is, at least I have this, at least. And they call it, I like this guy. He says, level 1 gratitude is like a near beer. It has no bite. It has no staying power. It doesn't do anything for you. But level 2 gratitude, this is where we as Catholic Christians need to be. We need to be grateful for everything. For our life, the universe, for time, for space, for people's foibles and mistakes, and for people who are kind, people who are unkind. I tried to look at people today through this lens. And one person at work was so miserable, and I was so grateful that I wasn't them. I was so grateful I didn't live their life. I said, I think you need a hug. And they said, please don't come near me with a hug. And I said, well, guess what? I'm giving you a hug in my mind, and you can't stop me. And she looked at me like she wanted to literally kill me. And I said, too bad, I gave you a hug in my mind. So, the thing is, there is a kind of gratitude where you're driving to work and you go, oh my gosh, I usually hate winter and I hate thinking about the snow and the ice, but this year I'm going to try and enjoy winter. And when I'm sliding down the hill at 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to say, I love this, Jesus, thank you. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to be grateful for everything. How wonderful it is to exist, just to exist. Gratitude can become the canvas upon which our life is painted. Think about that. The gratitude, our life painted. We live without fear of loss or change. My sister gave me all these kitchen utensils that she didn't want anymore, and I'm talking, oh my gosh, Bob, what would you say? 200 kitchen utensils? Oh yeah? Oh yeah. I'm talking ladles, I'm talking meat tenderizers, I'm talking melon ballers, I'm talking spatulas, wooden spoons. I could go on and on and on. Now many of these were very pristine. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, should I be donating all these to the rescue mission? Well, maybe I should try to sell them all. Maybe I should keep them. They're really in good shape. And then I was like angsting over these kitchen utensils that I didn't buy, that weren't mine. So I went through them, picked out the 5 best ones, picked out the 10 next best ones to sell, try to get $1 for them, and the rest I donated to the rescue mission. And then you might say, oh, Ellen, how great. But after I did that, I'm thinking, maybe they're gone. Somebody's already buying them for 99 cents at the rescue mission. I'm losing sleep thinking, maybe I should have hung on to those kitchen utensils. Anyone ever do that? Donate something and go, maybe I shouldn't have? Let it go. They're possessions. I'm trying to teach myself this lesson. And I love this too, where they say, treat life as if it were a game. The game of life. Let's try not to go to jail. We don't want to do that as we do in the game of life. But let's try to treat it as if we are a part of it and just be grateful. And I love this. Gratitude is a lens for uncovering beauty. Think about that. Beauty. I'm going to stop right there, Bob.